Hello, everybody, and welcome to our show. I'm Cyrus, and I'm looking forward to drinking some wine with you this evening.
And I'm Brittany, and I'm ready to try some exquisite wines from
Italy.
Wow! Didn't want to steal your thunder.
Oh, thanks, babe.
You're welcome.
Yeah, this is an exciting episode, especially after we were doing kind of bargain bin wines last week.
Which is great.
But now we're drinking some not bargain bin wines.
This is awesome.
So I am excited.
Very much.
So as usual, I brought a white.
And I brought a red.
Intro. So, Brittany, what do you have for us this week?
So I brought a 2020 Barbera from the northern area of Italy. It comes from the winery of Santa Giustina, and it comes in at 13.5% alcohol.
Nice. Well, I'm really excited for Barbera. We've had some great ones in the past.
Yeah, me too. Generally, I think this is going to be just a wonderful red variety. Like you said, we tend to like these types. And it's supposed to be somewhat fruity from what I remember. But mostly savory and very whole mouth feel.
Yeah, I think that what we said on our Barbera episode way back when was that this was the wine that normal Italians drink.
Yeah.
Right?
So this is kind of authentic.
Yeah, there's a lot of Sangiovese out there, but it's more expensive, and this is like a good table wine.
$17.
Yeah.
So very much in the price range. And it's a very nice little bottle. It looks like somebody kind of wrote on a label a little bit, but very nice penmanship. I would say white lettering with some birds flying. The label's mostly red as well. So it's very simplistic, but very wonderful.
Yeah, that red is eye-catching. So
yeah, I think so.
Certainly got us. Well, why don't we get it open?
Okay.
That was smooth.
Oh, it's already very aromatic from what I can tell.
Well, the color is amazing. It's kind of a deep garnet. It's more red than purple, I would say. And it goes all the way to the rim. It's pretty dark.
Very deep red color for sure. It doesn't turn like brownish or purpley or orangey towards the end of it when you look at it.
Just deep red.
Just red.
Well, let's smell it.
Great. Well, I don't get a lot of fruits on the nose, but what I do get is the alcohol first thing hits my nose, burns those nose hairs, and then comes in this kind of gravelly granite kind of smell.
Yeah, and I think there's like a little gasoline maybe too, kind of. That might just be the alcohol, but something that, you know, sometimes you get in like a Riesling. There's a little bit of that here. Definitely the granite, like you mentioned, the rock. And if there are fruit smells, they are very, very fermented.
Super, yes.
Because it does smell a touch sweet, which must come from the fruit. And I'm excited. This smells really great.
Me too. I think it's going to be a really good pick.
All right, well, let's get in here.
Awesome. So there's something sort of a little spritzy about it.
I agree.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's almost like a bubbly sensation, almost like Prosecco in a way, but it does have that savoriness to it, although a tinge of sweetness from maybe some berries of some sort, some dark berries, and then some twigs from those berries for sure. And I think mostly just gravelly tasting. Yeah,
it's really like a dark stewed blackberry, and then it's like, like there's like brown, the word that you see on backs of bottles would be forest floor kind of smell. And then that comes through in the taste as well. It's not as mushroomy as I would say as like you said, twiggy. It's good though.
I like it. I think it's different. I didn't expect the sort of fizziness from it.
I agree. We both, when we looked at each other.
After, like, I didn't get it the first sip, but then I got it maybe the second, third sip. And then we definitely locked eyes and we're like, this is interesting.
I like it though because it's right up front. It's something interesting, and then it kind of dissipates, and you get that meaty Northern Italian red, which we love. So it's an interesting take on that.
Yeah, I think so. It's surprising. It's good. I enjoy it a lot. It's maybe not on the toppest of my radar though, although it is a very good wine.
I agree. I think that it's, middle top this season. We should go back through the list. We haven't in a little while.
Sure.
But I would be interested to see where this falls.
Yeah. But although, it being just kind of this simplistic wine, it still has those little surprises that I think bring me back to it.
For sure. Alrighty. So, Brittany, what should our listeners know about Italian wine?
Yes. So Italian wines are commonly made with dried grapes, kind of like raisins, pretty much. And so those are typically Italian dessert wines that are best had with meat, other than, desserts, because of their long production time. And also, we know that wines and different variety grapes have been grown around volcanoes, right? We learned that from our Hungary episode. But Italy also has volcanic, slopes that they grow wine grapes on. So that's pretty cool. These regions are pretty trendy right now also.
Yeah, and we're going to get to try one for our second wine
Yes,
today.
I'm so excited to see how it might differ from our Hungary episode as well.
For sure.
Also, for each year between the months of August and November, that's really the harvest time in Italy for grapes. So about 1 in 50 Italians take part in this harvest time because it's so crucial, because they produce a ton of wine. They're often traveling back from jobs in the city, and so Italy, it being the largest producer, everyone kind of comes in and helps.
Yeah, they make more wine than any other country, even than France or Spain, more than the US, which is, 50 times their size.
That's insane.
So.
I wish I knew that when I went to Italy too, but it was definitely apparent because our Airbnb host gave us wine. So that was great.
Nice. Well, Brittany, what do you think of this first wine?
So surprising, I think, is the word. Definitely very well balanced in the end in terms of the different notes that come in. But it's very good. It's a very somewhat simplistic, although that fizziness is different. It's still a great wine to have, I think. Definitely at dinner time.
Yeah, I called it a table wine in the intro, and I think that totally lives up to that. It would be great with dinner. I'm glad that there is a little fruit on the taste, because the smell didn't have any of that, and it just balances it nicely, like you said. So I think this is a great. I would never be upset to drink this.
Yeah, very impressed, very happy.
All right. Well, with that, we'll take a short break, and when we come back, we will have our second bottle.
I'm trying.
Okay, sorry. I'll look at them.
No.
No, you want me to listen to you? What do you want from me? Don't look at them. Look at them. Don't look at me. So, Brittany, what do you have for us this week? I think you're middle. Juice. It's juice.
Juice, Dana.
All right. Well, Brittany, let's intro.
Not touching.
2 shots of vodka. Verdict's in, folks. No, it is not a good nose itcher. Dies. Don't try kids at home. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. So I brought a white. Brittany, you want to fetch that?
Sure. Tell us all about it.
Yeah. So this here is a 2021 Caricante from volcanic Mount Etna, as we alluded to in our last section. It is from Sicily in southern Italy, on the island there. And Mount Etna, still is an amazing place to grow grapes because it's it's in a really, really warm climate, but its slopes go up high enough to kind of reduce the climate to make this really interesting balance. So it's a very trendy growing region, and we have an Etna Bianco here. It is a pretty plain label, as is a theme with me. It's got a white label with some green writing on it, and it says Etna Bianco on it. Now, I mentioned that it is a Caricante. It's 100% Caricante. White wines from Etna Bianco need to be. And that grape is, a pretty fresh white. So I'm pretty excited to see how much the volcanic soil kind of comes through here.
Yeah, I'm wondering if it'll give us that kind of volcano magma taste.
Magma.
But I think it'll be interesting just seeing if it'll have some sort of fruit component or floral component. I really don't know.
Yeah, should be interesting. Well, why don't we get this guy open?
Awesome.
Bigger pour. Oops.
I like white wines that are creamy and have a rich flavor.
Yeah, well, I'm excited to smell this.
Me too. Let's go in. Okay, it sort of smells like it's going to be creamy. But for notes, I'm getting a lot of more floral.
Yep, I think that I advertise this as a fresh white, and I think that that's kind of how it's smelling. It smells fresh.
Yes, it smells bright. It smells creamy. Although, can you smell creamy? I don't know. But it also smells floral, and I'm not getting a ton else.
Yeah, not too much fruit, honestly. It's very flower focused.
Yes, I think so.
If there were fruit, I think it's, it's like apple, but it's pretty subtle. I think that it smells pretty good. I'm hoping that it's not too sweet, though.
Yeah, I hope so, too. I don't really love sweet white wines, but...
All right, well, let's taste it.
Okay, so I am getting subtle hints of honey, like honeysuckle maybe. Honeysuckle flowers, vanilla-y, little creamy, not as creamy as I thought it would be, but still a little creamy, and very bright. I would probably have this with some white sauce pasta.
Yeah, I think that this is not as volcanic as we expected, right?
No, I'm not getting the magma.
Yeah, you'll notice we didn't talk at all about stone on the nose, and I think that the only thing about the taste that kind of is reminiscent there is that there's like a flinty sharpness to it that the acidity brings.
Super slight though.
Yep.
It's mostly floral.
Yeah, it is a pretty floral wine. It's a really interesting mix between the richness of like a Chardonnay type wine and, because it's from such a hot climate, and then the florality of, some of these wines that we've tried earlier this season. I'm thinking of the Greek episode, for examples. So it's a really interesting mix there. It doesn't stand out in either category, but it's its own thing, right?
I think so. Yeah. I think it's a very subtle, very nice, slightly sweet, but still that little creamy savoriness is added to it. So it's not too sweet for us.
Nope.
I'm very happy with it.
It's pretty unique because of that, that the fact that it's not either a rich wine or a super fresh wine.
It's somewhere in between.
I need another sip here. I'm also surprised it's not as acidic for how fresh it is. A lot of the fresh wines that we have are very acidic.
Although there's still that saliva that's coming into my tongue. So
Totally.
There's a pinch of acidity, but not as much as our previous whites that we've had, similar to this.
Yeah, and I guess what I was going to say is if you are somebody who is very sensitive to acidity in wines, this might be a good one to try because it's just a touch. It's there enough to keep the wine interesting and not like bland, but it is just a touch. So I think that might be a good one for you. Well, I have some facts about Italy too.
Tell me more.
Yeah, so I was interested in learning how Italian wines are labeled and like how to pick one out on a shelf. So I did a little research on that, and the long and short of it is there's kind of 4 different classifications for wine in Italy. Vino is just generic wine, and according to EU rules, you can't even say where it's from. So it would be or what grapes it is. So it would be kind of like the equivalent of Californian red blend here in the US.
Oh, okay, I get that.
Where it's from anywhere in California, and it's any grapes. Vino varietal, which is the same thing. You can't say where it's from, but it would be like the equivalent of Californian Sauvignon Blanc. And then the third one is IGP or IGT. Now you add place to it. So you have to, it has to be a particular grape. It has to be from a particular place. So Barbera, for example, is only allowed to be grown in certain places in Italy, and there are like 116 locations that they've split Italy up into. And so in each of those places, they have their own rules, and you have to follow them. So that's the next one up. And then the highest one, DOC and DOCG are both within the same kind of highest class there, and they are like basically the same thing as IGT, but even more strict rules. So you have you can only grow certain grapes in these certain villages, and only to certain volumes. So it should make the quality better. So DOCG or DOC are good things to look for on your wines, and in fact, we found those on ours. So that says Department of Origin Controlled, or DOC. And the other one, the same.
Same thing.
So those are both DOC wines.
Okay. I didn't know it was ranked like that. That's really interesting.
So I don't know. That was a fun little deep dive in there. There's so many more little words, like Reserva or Classico or lots of things like that. But those kind of are add-on words. The real ones are, IGP, IGT, DOCG, or DOC. Those are the ones you want to look for.
Cool. Well, what are your overall impressions of this white?
Well, I think it's pretty good. I wish that it was a little stronger at any one thing. I think it's a pretty good all-rounder. So I think it's probably on my lower half this season, certainly of the white wines, only because it's very unique in that it is, trying to straddle this line between those rich whites and the, kind of aromatic fresh whites, and it doesn't do either quite as well. But it's still enjoyable, and as I've said before, we only pick out pretty good wine on this podcast, so being lower down on the list, it doesn't make it a bad wine. It just means that I personally don't like it as much.
Yeah, I think I would agree with you, although I put it a little higher than you would, just because it gave me a really nice creamy sensation. I like how well-rounded it is, and I love the idea that it's from a volcanic region. So. Yeah,
I just wish there was more volcano.
I know, that's one thing that is missing, so it's probably not in my top 3, but it's somewhere underneath that.
Alrighty, well, Brittany, as usual, it's been an absolute pleasure drinking wine with you.
And with you, Cyrus.
Alrighty. Hope to do it again soon. Bye, folks.
Bye.